Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the final week of the season, Championship Week, for our Pokemon Swish Draft League. It's been an interesting season getting here, that's for sure. Um, I know I wish my team would have placed higher than it did, but still pretty happy that we had a good season. That is technically still going on today. Today we have our third place series and our championship series. Now the way this is going to work, because the other trainer and I are either going to have to trade Pokemon back and forth, to play the second game, since the way our 2 game series works, I am in control of both teams for a game. So off screen, we're going to trade back and forth. And with that being the case, instead of trying to do the third place game, pause the video, trade, do the second third place game, pause the video. Like instead of doing a bunch of trading, we're going to play game 1 of the third place series and game 1 of the championship series. We will pause. That way we just have one pause in the video where we're trading. And then we'll do game 2 of both series. After the series are done, we will do the awards. I was originally going to do it between, but some of the awards are still, they're going to be impacted. Like, for example, games played and knockouts may be impacted by these playoff games. So we're going to wait till after to reveal everything. I do know the regular season MVP and the winner for the cheerleader award, but since we got to wait on other awards, we're just going to do them all at the end. All right, with all that said and done, we're going to get things ready here. The third place game is between the 3 seed, the Fairmont Flygon, and the 4 seed, the Harper's Ferry Haunter. This will be an interesting matchup indeed. I think I I can't talk. I think I picked a pretty good team, but we'll see. We'll see what they bring. That's going to be a big determining factor there. All right, and instead of tournament, we will do champion for the music this week, since it is the championship. I know this one's technically a third place game, but championship week. All right, let's see who they brought. Because I know they have Heatran and Azelf. No Heatran in the third place game. Okay. I'm checking to make sure that was right. That was right. Okay, I was just making sure that we didn't have the wrong one set over there. Okay. Out of that team, I'm not really sure who they would lead. I mean, I would think Hippowdon, except no one else really can make use of the Sandstorm. I think I lead Dusclops just because it's the most, it's going to have the least impact, I believe, on this game. Like, the only thing it's going to be good for is if I need Shadow Sneak for something. All right, here we go. All right, they're leading with the Grovyle. That's actually an interesting matchup for Dusclops. I don't think it's a good matchup by any means. But we do have Revenge and Payback. They're both doubled. Revenge will do more damage. I was going to say it should outspeed me. Oh, wow. Okay. Good job, Dusclops. Without the Eviolite, you tank that pretty well still. Would have liked a little bit more there on the Revenge, but all right. Going into Leaf Storm, okay. All right. I guess they're worried about my speed boost with the Sharpedo, because I was kind of wondering why they wouldn't save the Grovyle for that, but I could just protect and that'd be faster. All right, so a knockout. I was looking at the wrong matchup there. A knockout for Dusclops over Grovyle there. All right, Dusclops versus Dusknoir. So we're probably going to die here. Pretty sure it's just a little bit faster. And, of course, it also has more attack power. We're just going to Shadow Sneak, see if we can get some damage on it. Alrighty. Dusclops goes down to Dusknoir. I could throw Sharpedo in there, but I also sort of want to save it for dealing with Azelf. Yeah, we have multiple Pokemon, like with Flygon and Sharpedo, that could deal with Magmortar. Let's just go Rotom then. It shouldn't have enough attack power to take us out before we can Nasty Plot. So let's Nasty Plot. All right, and went Will-O-Wisp. We don't have any physical attacks, so that's an interesting choice. Hydro Pump. Supposedly more accurate than Thunder. All right, Dusknoir's gone. Good start. Would have been nice if we could have had some of these things work in some of our playoff battles, like if we would have not missed Hydro Pumps and Thunders. But, oh well. That's Pokemon for you. Azelf's the only one that's left that's a threat, because I just realized with us having Nasty Plot Hydro Pump, like Magmortar and Hippowdon are in trouble. Let's go Thunder instead of Hydro Pump here. And the main reason for that being that if we could paralyze it, like we just win because we'll outspeed it. Well, I shouldn't say we just win. We'd still have to rely on the accuracy of our moves to hit, but we would be able to possibly just take it from here. They went for Nasty Plot. We Thundered. I don't know why they Nasty Plotted. We took them out. Okay. Like I said, Nasty Plot, Rotom Wash. We might be in it for the win now. Like we might not even need to see the other Pokemon on the team. Hydro Pump. All right, they're going Thunderbolt. Rotom tanks it. Another hit. We're 3 for 3 on Hydro Pump and Thunder combined. And that's going to be a knockout against the Magmortar. Rotom Wash having its best game of the season. It would have been nice if it could have done this well, the rest of the season. All right, Hippowdon. I know that if we land Hydro Pump, it's over. But since it is the last Pokemon, I'm going to Will-O-Wisp. Just so that if it does, by some weird chance thing, beat Rotom somehow. There we go, we got it to work. I was going to say our other Pokemon will be set up nice. We should win now. Like, even if it froze us, it would have to hit us like 30 times. Although it would have Sandstorm and Burn, I guess, working in its favor, but still. All right, I think we win if we just land another Hydro Pump now. We probably could have done that last turn, but again, I just wanted that fail-safe in case we don't hit. We do hit. Perfect on all the inaccurate moves. I mean, Will-O-Wisp is inaccurate as well. So a good showing, a great showing, I'd say, from Rotom Wash. And the Flygon win game 1 4-0 against the Harper's Ferry Haunter. So Flygon winning the 3rd place series at the moment. The Haunter will basically have to get a sweep to win. So that series, that's the Flygon are in a very good spot. Let me edit that real quick here. All right. Next up, we've got our Game 1 of our Championship Series. The 1 seed Raging Rayquaza and the 2 seed Nightmare AC. Nightmare AC has the incredible feat of this is our 5th year running this draft league. And Nightmare, although not always under the name of Nightmare, sometimes under different names like Doom and Gloom or Atlanta Firo. Nightmare has been in the championship all 5 years. A tradition that continues to this season where they are always in the championship for Pokemon. So I'll be interested to see. They've won 2 out of 4 so far. Will they get their 3rd championship? Or will the Raging Rayquaza, a.k.a. Minnesota Suicune and Houston Ho-Oh, get their 2nd championship in league history? All right. Just making sure that the other person is set. They say they're good to go. I don't see it yet on my screen that it says they're good to go, but they say they're good to go. We're going to lead Hippopotas because that's just what we do with this team to set up the Garchomp for later. And we'll figure it out from there. After this match, like I said, we'll pause and send all the Pokemon to the other switches so that we can play the game 2 of both series. All right, Rotom Heat. That's been their lead for several of their last matches. Hippopotas. Let's see. I don't think we have anything we can do to it other than Body Slam, right? Yeah. Let's save back Hippopotas then. Let's put in Latios. Being a dragon type, it's not going to get hurt too much. And surely it's not going to paralyze us with Thunder since we had a ground type out there. All right, they just went for the straight-up overheat to start. It's an interesting strategy, seeing as, again, you lose your attack power. They don't have any fairy types, right? They do not. What do they have that they could switch into? Except for Weavile, Psychic's good against pretty much everything here. Well, then there's also Latios. I think we Dragon Pulse and see where things go. They stayed in. Okay. Good hit. They're going with Shadow Ball. We do have Recover, and we are faster. Oh my gosh, Latios just eats that up. He got the special defense drop. That's not great for us, but nonetheless. Like, just Recover. This is still going to hurt a little bit because of that defense drop. Our big thing is we're just hoping that they don't get a second defense drop. If that happens, we're going to have to switch. Are you kidding me? 2 Shadow Balls and 2 defense drops. Okay. You're probably going to Shadow Ball again. Let's get... Well, no, I want to save Rotom. I need to save that for the Ludicolo. Let's get Hippopotas back out there. Because the only thing Hippopotas is really used for is for setting the sand. I know the sand's not gone yet, but, like, it's not as valuable as the rest of the team. All right. You know, after seeing that display, let's just go for the Body Slam. Interesting that they've stayed in this whole time with their reduced special attack instead of trying to switch out like I did with my another defense drop. Come on, it's a 10% chance, and they're getting it left and right. All right, the Sandstorm is gone. Let's get Latios out there. I know Shadow Ball's super effective, but our defenses will be returned to normal. We can take a turn to heal with Recover. And that way we still have that Sandstorm possibility for Garchomp later in the fight. All right. No defense drop that time, so we can just go to recover. If I had Calm Mind on this would be a very scary Pokemon. But again, we tried to keep things from being too overpowered. I know that we're probably going to have to rethink Cresselia next season. We might make it more physically defensive instead of giving it Calm Mind. We'll see. But like we tried to keep Pokemon from having too many broken move sets in this league. All right, the Rotom will go down finally to the Latios. What is going to come in? I could imagine it could be Latios or Weavile. It is, in fact, the Weavile. That is something scary that this team really doesn't want to see. Literally all five Pokemon are weak to it in some way. We do have Aura Sphere if it doesn't take us out beforehand. That hurt a lot. Latios hangs on with 7 health. We're lucky it didn't get a critical hit with that Night Slash. The not Focus Blast. Aura Sphere will take out the Weavile. That may have swayed the game right there, just the fact that Latios was able to survive and take it out. Like, that's a crazy turn of events right there. You are going to extreme speed us. Let's get Hippopotas out there just to get the sand back up. Plus, Latios is fast enough that it could help potentially against Latios in a speed tie, or maybe Ludicolo if the rain isn't up. Let's just go for Earthquake, get some damage on. I think it's going to take us out before we can do anything. But yeah, let's go for the Earthquake just in case. All right, Hippopotas goes down. But again, it got the Sandstorm up, which allows us to put Garchomp in now. Okay, Earthquake. All right, they stayed in for some unknown reason, and Lucario is going to go down. Grant, I guess their only other option would be to put Ludicolo in and let it take a hit. Although Latios could have avoided Earthquake. So that's an odd decision. Maybe they didn't think I was going to go Earthquake. But thinking Fire Blast would have been not very effective. I don't know what they were thinking. So. Dragon Claw, it's Dragon versus Dragon. They're faster. That's going to hurt a lot. The Sand Veil did not protect us there. Garchomp survives the hit, though. Dragon Claw. Latios does not survive the hit. All right, looking good. The Ludicolo is still kind of scary, though. They'll probably spend the first turn setting up Rain Dance, but then it's going to outspeed everything. So, like, it's going to be not the most fun thing to fight against. Unless we get a crit here and take it out, that'd be funny. We certainly did not. Okay, so now this is going to be a whole new battle. And we're damaged enough from the Latios, it doesn't need to go for Blizzard here. It could just straight up, like, hit us with Giga Drain or Hydro Pump. Although Hydro Pump could miss. It went Giga Drain. That's not going to miss. All right. Ludicolo will take out Garchomp. Get Rotom Fan out there. Thunder Wave. Let's hope Rotom Fan is sturdy enough to make it. It misses the Hydro Pump. All right, Paraflinch is in effect. This Pokemon is the main reason that this person selected Rotom Fan for the championship lineup. Good hit. No paralyzation or flinch. There's a Hydro Pump. That's going to hurt a lot in the rain. Rotom Fan tanks it. And we're going to go for the 100% accurate Thunder since it's raining. And Ludicolo will go down. That is a 3-0 victory for the Raging Rayquaza, which means Nightmare will have to have a 4 or 5-0 victory to win the championship. But still a pretty good battle. The main thing I question is the... well, first off, that battle could have gone differently if the Weavile would have got... Because it used Night Slash, which has a higher critical hit rate than other attacks. If it gets the crit there and takes out Latios, that battle really gets ugly fast for Raging Rayquaza because Cresselia is weak to it, Rotom Fan is weak to it, Hippopotas and Garchomp are weak to it. Like, that really gets out of hand fast. So that was a game, possibly game-deciding calculation by the game when it decided if there was going to be a critical hit there or not. On top of that, as far as man-made decisions, because we have no effect on if like a critical hit happens or not, it was interesting to see the other player. It was interesting to see the other player let Garchomp go after Latios the way it did. Like, I feel like... not Latios, I'm sorry, Lucario. I feel like they could have switched Latios in to avoid the Earthquake, or even put Ludicolo in to take a lesser damage hit. That's the only... Like, I would have played that differently. But, other than that, solid battle. I don't know why I clicked that, because like I said, I'm going to have to exit out and do some trading here. All right, I'm going to pause the video real quick. I'll be right back with Game 2 for both series. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. As you can see, we've done all the tradings, and now we are in the process of setting up the second batch of matches here. So we'll start with Game 2 of the third place series that is between the Fairmont Flygon and the Harper's Ferry Haunter. I will be in control of the Haunter here for Game 2. The Haunter are in a rough spot. They need a 5-0 sweep or it's over and the Flygon win. So, we'll see how that goes. Let's see here. Sorry about that. We had a TV on in the background, so let's turn that off. Okay. There we go. So apparently the Grovyle was requested to be the lead. That's why Grovyle was chosen last time, so I will be sticking to that here as well. We'll see what the opponent ends up doing. I mean, it doesn't really matter the order of the other ones since we got our lead, so I'm just going to go down the list. I don't know what they're doing per se, but I know I led with the Dusclops last time. I would expect them to do something different. All right, here we go. Game 2, Fairmont Flygon and Harper's Ferry Haunter. Harper's Ferry Haunter need a clean sweep, a 5-0 sweep to win the series. Since tiebreaker goes to the higher seed. That is not a great start. That thing does have Fire Blast. I'm going to go Hippowdon. Hippowdon's bulky enough we ought to survive a couple hits. And we do have Ice Fang. Because again, I got to keep everything alive. That's the only way we have a sweep. All right, I was going to say, please don't burn. That would be very Very bad for us if we got burned. Going with the Dragon Rush and landing it on the first try. We do not flinch, but they land the 75% accurate move, and we miss the 95% accurate move. Really? All right, let's try again. They're 2 in a row. They're 2 for 2 on Dragon Rush. They did not get the flinch. We do land the Ice Fang this time. Dang, if we would have had both, we would have beaten the flag on there. Well, it's going to take us out, so we gotta switch. It's going to go with the Dragon Rush again. Again, it might not because we're on such low health. I'm going to go Azelf and hope that they're going Earth Power. I think it does have Crunch, so that could be bad if I misplayed that. They did go Earth Power, okay. I think for right now, we just get the knockout. All right. That should take it out, and it does take it out. That's Elf with a knockout against Flygon. Okay. Again, though, we got to have a sweep. Like, one knockout isn't going to do it. Sharpedo. Do I have anything to deal with Sharpedo? Get Grovyle back out there. Because this particular Sharpedo, I believe, does not have any ice or poison moves. So, it's going to have to rely on Night Slash. I'm going to go Leaf Storm just because I don't know if Leaf Blade will do it. I know that Sharpedo is kind of frail, but since we're unevolved, like and we're just working with base stats, I don't know if Leaf Storm will do it or not. I'm not Leaf Storm, Leaf Blade. So we're going to go Leaf Storm to try and make sure there's enough firepower. All right, here comes the Night Slash. We survive. There's the Leaf Storm. Sharpedo goes down. Okay. Still alive. We are still alive to pull off the comeback here. Again, we have to have a clean sweep. Anything short of that does not get the job done. This is a problem. This is a problem. I mean, it's probably going to spend its first turn going with Autotomize. But from where it's got Sturdy, we have to hit it twice. I'm going to low sweep it, assuming that it's going to go for the Autotomize. Since that double speed, I'll have 1.5 times speed. All right. Surely it's not going to go Stone Edge because we're low on health, right? Let's get Magmortar in there and see if we can work something out here. As long as it doesn't go Stone Edge, like if it goes Ice Punch or Iron Head, we should be fine. Okay. I know that Earthquake is 4 times effective. I'm still going to go Fire Blast, though, because it's stab, and its physical defense is much higher than its special. Fire Blast. We missed the Fire Blast. The Stone Edge hits, and that will end it. Essentially, that's going to be a win for the series for Fairmont Flygon. We can still pull out a victory in this individual battle. But that takes out the possibility of a sweep. I mean, Earthquake, it's questionable. It might have gotten the job done, but I don't know. There's the Iron Head. They flinched. And that's what can make Aggron scary, is when it gets rolling. All right, Brick Break there did some decent damage. The Earthquake might have been enough. All right, Aggron's going to take out the Dusclops. Dusknor, sorry. I think you're going to outspeed the Grovyle, but we're going to do this because the other options are not great either. Grovyle is faster, and we'll take out the Aggron. There's still Rotom, Wash, and Dusclops. I'm actually going to switch to Azelf. I probably should have done Hippowdon instead. I was thinking I would save Grovyle for the Rotom. Oh, we have Energy Ball in the Azelf. I could have saved that for the Rotom too. I'm stupid. All right, Nasty Plot, because it looks like it's not going to have enough to take us out in one hit. Okay, it almost did. I'm glad that I got lucky there, so I didn't look like a total idiot. Psychic. Oh, but it... Well, it has a Shadow Sneak, though, so, like, we are done. Yep. All right, well, I probably should have attacked last turn, but I know Dusclops is just bulky enough that we weren't going to one-shot it. So, mistakes were made, but it's because I was trying to avoid a sweep. Once the sweep was over, it really didn't matter the score of this game anyway, because Fairmont Flygon is going to get the third place trophy. As I say, it should just be able to Shadow Sneak everything. That's another Pokemon. So in the first game, it was Rotom Wash. In the second game, it was Dusclops. If either one of them would have played like this during the season, we might have won this thing. All right. So that's going to go down as a 2-0 victory for the Flygon. All right. Which brings us to our game 2 of the championship series. Between the Raging Rayquaza and Nightmare AC. I will be in charge of Nightmare AC this time around for game 2. So far, the team that seems to have me at the helm in game 1 tends to do better. That has not been the case in every series, but in the majority of them. So we'll see if Nightmare can overcome that first game. They lost 3-0, so they have to win 4-0 or with a sweep. So they can only afford one Pokemon to go down. If 2 go down, Raging Rayquaza are the champs. So we'll see what I can do. A lot of it is honestly going to depend on Weavile. A lot of it is going to depend on Weavile. Since Weavile is super effective against all 5, if Weavile could do something like get a couple critical hits off of Night Slash, this is a totally different ballgame, as we saw with the last battle between these two. If Weavile gets defeated early or cannot get lucky enough to get a critical hit, then this thing goes in the Rayquaza's favor. So we'll see how this goes. Game 2 of the championship. I don't know, maybe next season we'll do best of 3 instead of this 2 thing, but like a lot of the owners in the league didn't really feel it was fair to have one team have me more than the other. So that's kind of where we came up with this 2-game series idea. Yeah, let's just surf. All right, the Hippopotas stays in. Does it survive a surf? It does not. Interesting choice from the get-go there. Although that Sandstorm is up, so I'm pretty sure I know who the next Pokemon's going to be. Yep. It's a simple strategy, but an effective one. All right, Dragon Pulse. I was say Garchomp should survive that without a crit. We did not survive the Dragon Claw. 2 battles. Oh, they got the crit. I was going to say. Okay. So Latios is down immediately. But we do have Garchomp injured pretty well. In fact, I believe it's in extreme speed territory. I was really hoping Latios would survive, kind of like the Latios did in the previous fight. So it's my bad that they've lost one already. But I was really hoping that we'd get lucky there and damage rolls would be different. All right. All right, Latios is out there. We can't lose another Pokemon this game. So I got to be smarter about that. Meteor Mash. Maybe we get the boost from Meteor Mash. It goes with Aura Sphere. That's going to hurt, but we should survive it. Yep. Do we get this within extreme speed territory? Critical hit. That helps. And the Sandstorm. Ah. Well, if I retreat, this is a tough one. Because if extreme speed does enough, it has enough firepower behind it, we could take it out this turn. If it doesn't, we're going down and I look like an idiot. I think we retreat for now, and after Sandstorm hits it again at the very least, then we can go for the extreme speed knockout later, potentially. And if they recover, then, I mean, we weren't taking them out this turn anyway. All right, they did go Aura Sphere again, so I'm glad I didn't risk it. The Sandstorm is gone now. Let's just go into the Shadow Ball. What are they doing? All right. I was trying to speed them up. Like, hey, man, what are you doing over there? Big hit from the Psychic, but Rotom survives. There's a Shadow Ball. Latios goes down. Cresselia is on the battlefield. That's not real great. We need to confuse it. Because, like, even without any boost, its Moonblast can take out Weavile pretty easily. So switching Weavile in right now I don't think is wise. I think we should try to chip away at it. And then, because we're going to be relying on if Weavile gets a critical hit or not anyway. It is confused. Now I'm going to switch. Because A, the confusion might stop it from powering up some. And B, keep it from healing or attacking us. All right. It's confused. Do we get lucky? We did not get lucky this turn. Okay. It did Calm Mind again, so at least we didn't get Moon Blasted. I would imagine they're going to go straight for Moon Blast now because the Dark type is on the field. All right, Night Slash. Do we get lucky? This is going to determine the fight. We did not get the critical hit. Maybe they get confused. They did not get confused either. We had two chances there for something to go our way. Weavile survives it. Okay, we still have a chance. Okay. A lot of it's going to depend on if it's still confused or not. All right, it's going to come down to the confusion or a critical hit. We did not get the critical hit. We need it to hit itself. It snaps out of confusion. Well, I mean, I can't control what the game decides to do there. We had a couple chances. It's unfortunate. It is low enough down there that I think Lucario can maybe take it out with extreme speed. All right, Cresselia will go down to Lucario. But again, this one's pretty much over. Best case scenario, we're going to get a 3-0 victory. The two sides will be tied, and the tiebreaker will go to Rayquaza. So at this point, we're essentially just seeing how good we can make the score look. All right, Lucario will go down to the Rotom F with Rotom Fan. Sorry, I had it abbreviated, hence why Rotom F. All right, Rotom H, or in other words known as Rotom Heat, goes out there. Thunder. There'll be a neutral hit. It goes with Air Slash. We survive it, but we flinch. These two should be speed tied. Yep. All right, we go Thunder. Not enough to take it out anyway. Here comes Air Slash. It does not miss. And that'll be it for Rotom H. Rotom Heat. And now we have Ludicolo. All right, Blizzard. Ludicolo survives with 5 health. There's a critical hit. There's a Blizzard. Rotom Fan will go down, and that'll go down as a 1-0 victory for Nightmare. However, for the series, Rayquaza has won by 3. Nightmare won by 1, so the point differential swings by 2 in favor of Rayquaza. So that is a 1-1 series victory for the Raging Rayquaza. Who will be our champions for the season. And that made me 2-0 against the computer in that series. In the other series, I was 1-1 versus the computer. Getting some stuff jotted down here before I go back and do calculations on the computer. All right. With that being the case, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be right back in a moment to show who won all the awards and what the final standings look like. This has been a great season, a great year. We'll definitely do it again in some fashion next year. I would imagine it'll be on Sword and Shield again, but we'll see. Maybe we'll do Scarlet and Violet or something. Probably a similar format. But I'll be right back in a moment with the final standings and all of the awards. All right, see you in just a moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Sorry for the delay there. As you can see, I even took my hat off at one point because I got, I got tired. Got a little hot and took my hat off. All right, so winner of the third place series was the Fairmont Flygon, and the winner of our championship was the Raging Rayquaza, the second championship for that owner, manager, whatever you want to call them in this league. They are our 2025 champions. Let's look ahead. Let's look up here. Final standings. They finished 14-4. Nightmare 13-5. Flygon finished 13-7. Remember, Rayquaza and Nightmare both had a bye, so that's why they've got 2 less games played because they didn't have to play in the first round. Harper's Ferry Haunter 12-8. I've updated, so I finished 59-37 for the year against the computer player. Second lowest win percentage I've had, but considering this was our first year that I played against another human instead of the computer, not terrible. Still shows I win a lot more than I lose. I'd still venture to say most of the time I would win 2/3 of the time because we do got to factor in like 7 losses being me controlling Whale Force 1. So, like, if we get Whale Force 1 versus Raging Rayquaza, doesn't matter if I'm the most skilled trainer in the world if the lineups are that different, I have updated the all-time record now that the season's over. I'm now 215-111 against the CPU trainers in this league's history. So, again, 66%. So, about 2/3 of the time I'm leading teams to victory. That's how all the schedules finished out. So yeah, let's look at some of these awards here. I'm going to try these final statistics and then awards. Sorry. So for Nightmare, Latios ended up finishing as the leader with 19 knockouts, 8 feints. Lucario had 18 knockouts and 10 feints. So Lucario doing a lot of work there in the championship. Ludicolo had a pretty good season at 14-7. That championship could have gone a lot differently if Weavile would have got a critical hit at one point. I mean, we had 3 Night Slashes from it, and none of the 3 resulted in a critical hit for a move that's supposed to have an increased chance of a critical hit. If one of those lands, Weavile leads the way for a championship, potentially. Actually, it might have even been 4 Night Slashes. Anyway, you get my point, is Weavile was the key. It could have led the team to victory, and unfortunately, it just did not play out that way. And that's how Pokemon is sometimes. I mean, my team certainly saw it with a lot of misses I had in the Final Four against Nightmare. So that's just how it goes. Milo Ponyta, Metagross led the team 16-11. Roserade 14-9, pretty good season. Pokemon Power, Walrein with 20 knockouts, 9 feints. Gardevoir was their second place Pokemon, 10-8. Raging Rayquaza, a tie for the top in knockouts. Cresselia with 20 and Garchomp with 20. Difference being Cresselia with only 4 feints, Garchomp with 11. Hippopotas with 18 games played. Worthy of note there. Fairmont Flygon. Aggron ended up passing Flygon this week to finish the season as my top knockout getter. It was pretty well spread out, though, amongst a lot of my Pokemon. Dusclops had its best week of the season this week, actually putting it ahead of Regice. Squirtle Squad. Also, interesting thing about Flygon, I know I didn't win the championship, but the thing I'd like to point out, every Pokemon on the team, except for Rotom Mow, had a 500 or better KO to feint ratio. It's just interesting that it played out that way. You would think with those kind of numbers, we would have done better. Squirtle Squad, Leafeon led the way, 13-5, with Porygon Z being right behind at 9-6. Licky Munchkins, Pelipper led the way at 12-9. The only other one with a positive ratio, the positive ratios were Carvana at 7-6 and Stunky at 5-4. Licky technically coming in second with 8-11 as far as second for a number of knockouts. Whaleforce 1, their best Pokemon was Relicanth. Wailord being right there in the mix as well as Wingull. Harper's Ferry Haunter, Heatran finished number 1 despite not being used in the third place series. Magmortar came in second with Azelf third. They had a much better than expected team this season. I mean, I had a feeling from looking at their roster they drafted they would have a chance to be good, but fourth place, not bad for the first year that this manager has been in the league. Not bad at all. Mamoswine Flu. The Mamoswine Flu, Mamoswine with a whopping 23 knockouts this season. And it played in 15 matches. Pretty good. Torkoal came in second, 11-6. Just showing that Torkoal's a little underestimated. Team Garrett, Shifttree led the way at 13-8. Manectric, 11-6. Team Leanna, Lopunny led the way, 13-13. Linoon at 7-13. There's the playoff bracket once again. And now for the end of the season awards. All right. I'm going to hide them on screen here to start with. Let's see. We can go down to 2024. Previous MVPs. The reason it's listed as previous MVPs instead of just MVPs, I probably could just change that to MVPs, but I just wanted to sell that those were from past seasons. The previous MVP have pretty much been on the championship teams for the most part. Well, no, I take that back. I look at that here, and they were on one championship team. My bad. But 3 of the 4 belong to Nightmare under their several different names. I will say we are breaking that trend this season. In the voting, there were only 2 Pokemon that received votes in the MVP race. So we'll skip straight to the runner-up. Our runner-up was Walrein of the Pokemon Power. Walrein had a very good season, as I went through its statistics a little bit ago. It was a great Pokemon, to say the least, and very much carried that Power team. But our MVP this season has to go to Cresselia. Cresselia dominated the regular season for the Raging Rayquaza, despite not appearing in many games. It appeared in just a little over half. But when it appeared, it dominated. So, yeah. For the finals MVP, this was a tough call. Because we had 2 Pokemon that were deserving on the winning team. For the winning team, the Rayquaza, Garchomp had 3 knockouts and 2 feints amongst the 2 matches. In the win, 2 knockouts and a feint. In the loss, a knockout and a feint. The other candidate was Rotom Fan, who had a knockout, the game-winning knockout in the first match, and 2 knockouts and a feint, the best performing Pokemon for the Rayquaza in the second match that they lost. After looking at it and thinking about it, the finals MVP, because of the crucial performance and being the best performer in both matches, goes to Rotom Fan. Without Rotom Fan, Raging Rayquaza does not win the finals. And the knockout leader. The knockout leader goes to Mamoswine Flu's Mamoswine, who had 23 knockouts on the season. So that is how those 3 awards pan out for this season. Now for our fun awards. The 2 fun ones, and then we'll do what we also have most games played. For most games played, that is going to go to Hippopotas Female of the Raging Rayquaza. It played in a whopping 18 matches out of the 20 matches that they played this season. No, not 20. They played in all 16 matches they played this season. 18. Sorry, I can't talk apparently. They played 18 games and Hippopotas showed up to all 18. That's what I'm trying to say. Sheesh. Okay. So Hippopotas, no brainer. It literally played in every match, so it wins the award for most matches played in. Most useless Pokemon was Feebas. It had the worst knockout faint ratio at 1 knockout to 11 faints. Not really surprised that the team that finished last had the worst Pokemon. Like, just saying. And best team cheerleader. This is for the Pokemon that either weren't used at all or weren't used much. We had 2 Pokemon in the league that were not used at all season. So this honor goes to Vibrava of the Pokemon Power and Riolu of the Licky Munchkins. Those 2 Pokemon did not see the light of day at all in the league this season. So they will go down as the best team cheerleaders. In the past, we sort of had those 2 awards merged. Best team cheerleader and most useless. Like sometimes a Pokemon could win both categories. But over the years, as you see listed there, we have separated it. So that's how that goes down. So again, the biggest awards MVP went to Cresselia, and our finals MVP goes to Rotom Fan. And I'll bring us back up to the final standings here. That was the season. I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you liked what you saw, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, all that YouTube nonsense. I'll be back with regular YouTube videos throughout the coming weeks. I usually put up 1 or 2 a week with other games, whether it be Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo themed, whatever. And I also will be doing this again next year. We'll have another Pokemon Draft League. But until then, thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with something else. All right, see you then. Bye-bye.